Hi, internet is an amazing thing, no? Internet helps us connect with the world and lets us send inappropriate messages to unknown people. But, have you ever wondered how many people have access to the internet? No? Okay, cool. There are around 7.5 billion people on this planet and only 3.5 billion of them have access to the internet. Yes, only 3.5. More than half of our population don't even have access to the internet. Let's have a closer look at these numbers. The Oceania, yes, this area with lots of islands that nobody wanted. This area has a total population of 40.5 million and there are a total of 27.5 million internet users in Oceania. That's almost 32% of population without the internet. Oceania has a 0.5% of total population, but its internet users account for only 0.7% in the whole world. Now, let's talk about the Middle East, which is like a hot chick in a high school that everyone wants, It has a total population of 250 million, while there are only 142 million internet users in the Middle East. That's almost 46% of their population without the internet. Middle East has a 3.3% of total population, but its internet users account for only 3.8% in the whole world. The Europe has a total population of 833 million, while there are only 637 million internet users in the whole Europe. That's almost 22.6% of their population without the internet. Europe has a 11% of total population, but its internet users account for only 17% in the whole world. The America, on the other hand, has a total population of 1,010 million, while there are approximately 706 million internet users in the whole America. That's almost 30.2% of their population without the internet. Although that seems a bit lower than the Europe, but keep in mind the America's population is considerably higher than the Europe. America has a 13% of total population, but its internet users account for only 19% in the whole world. The Africa has a total population of 1,246 million, while there are only 353 million internet users in the Africa. That's almost 72% of their population without the internet. That shouldn't come as a surprise though. Africa has a 16% of total population, but its internet users account for only 9% in the whole world. Now let's talk about the big giant that is Asia. Asia has a total population of 4,148 million people. That's a lot. And there are 1,874 million users in the Asia. Now that seems really high, but that's almost 55% of their population without the internet. Asia has a 55% of total population, but its internet users account for only 50% in the whole world. Now we're gonna dive a bit deeper and have a look at which country has the most number of internet users in these areas. When we talk about Asia, China and India are at the top, with China securing almost 39% of the total Asia's internet users, while India at second with 25%. Now let's talk about the Africa. When it comes to Africa, Nigeria is at the top with almost 25% of total internet users, followed by Kenya, which has a total of 11% of all internet users in Africa. USA, on the other hand, has the most number of internet users in America, which shouldn't come as a surprise. But if you're wondering, USA has almost 41% of the internet users in the whole America, followed by the Brazil with approximately 20% of total internet users. The big internet giant in the Europe is the Russia with 17% of total internet users in Europe, while Germany is at the second place with a total of 11.5% of total internet users. Iran is at the top in the Middle East with almost 40% of internet users, while Saudi Arabia is at the second with 15% of total internet users. Lastly, let's talk about the Oceania. Since Oceania is filled with small islands, it shouldn't come as a surprise that almost 77% of the total internet users reside in Australia and 15% are from New Zealand. That's all fine, but what about which countries have the highest internet speeds in the whole world? For this, I'm going to pass this on to the Broke Man's PC, who you should check out if you're interested in tech-related videos.
So let's start with the top 5 countries with the best internet service. At number 5 we have Switzerland with an average download speed of 18.4 megabits per second with the average peak of 100.1 megabits per second. The average price is $53.47. Number 4 on this list is Sweden. In Sweden, the average download speed is 19.7 megabits while the peak is 62.6 megabits per second. These services cost an average of $30.29. Third on our list is Norway, one of the first non-English countries to be connected to the internet. In Norway, the internet was so popular that in 2013, internet was used by almost 100% of the country. However, as of now, it has toned down to 98% or roughly 5.2 million people. With an average 20.2 megabits per second download speed, Norway ranks second in average download speed, and the average peak is 55.9 megabits per second. Internet is a bit pricier at $43.78, so many people use the internet there. Even prisoners have access to it in their cells. And now, the second one on our list is Hong Kong. With the average download speed of 20.1 megabits per second and 69 megabits at peak, This just barely passes Norway. However, Hong Kong offers this at more than half the price at $26.03. And now the king of speed, accessibility, and price is a small but very well-known country, South Korea. The average internet speed in South Korea is 26.3 megabits per second with a peak of 86.6 megabits per second. However, internet service providers are rolling out optic fiber 1 gigabit per second internet for an insane price of $28.50. Thanks to the high population density of 1,200 people per square mile, which means 88 people live in the same space, which of course lowers the cost of setting up data infrastructure.